in the way of figuring out some of the more intricate tools for Zoom. Because, you know, the basic ones like share screen, those, they're pretty easy, but more like waiting room or, you know, breakout rooms. I think they want to do some of the activities as a breakout room activity where you send the participants to discuss and then you bring them back to the main session. For me, I try to do most of the activities just as a big group because I figure that breaking out and bringing back it was going to be a waste of time and, you know, it's just too confusing. If you have a co-facilitator, that would be great because, you know, they can probably help you with monitoring the chat, the questions, because not everyone likes to speak out during the sessions. You know, it's the same as a face-to-face. My first group was very talkative and they participated a lot. So that helped the session go, you know, not drag for the entire day. And it went really well. Participants liked it. So the QM rep Cecilia Green had asked me to email the files, the handouts and everything, you know, like the folder you get in face-to-face. She said, maybe you want to email these to participants. And I didn't email these, I just shared those files through the chat feature in Zoom. So as I covered the activity and the handout that they were going to need, I sent that through the chat. So that made things easier rather than having to email everything and, you know, having to figure out maybe if a zip folder was going to be, every participant was going to be able to open that. And I didn't want to send like an email per file. I did notice that some participants were taking the session on their iPad or even their phone. So to open the files, that wasn't easy. They couldn't do it. So I instructed them, you know, I said, you needed a laptop or a desktop, so please get one. And I also instructed the participants, I told them your video has to be enabled because I need to make sure you're there the entire time, right? And except, you know, of course, restroom breaks or when I give the breaks during the session, they can, you know, do whatever they want. But so that went well. I don't know, everything else was pretty smooth. Being familiar with Zoom, like I mentioned, is big help. Knowing how to share your screen and having your files ready, you know, as you would in any meeting you have. And yeah, so that was it. I did recommend to you, Cecilia, the files, you know, they're all named APPQMR _ something else. I did recommend to maybe number them, like having 1 _ APPQMR, so you know the sequence of the files as you're going through the session and you don't have to waste time and looking for the specific file, because that's something I didn't, I guess, put in sequence in my folder for the APPQMR session. So just having those numbers at the beginning helped me on the second time to do it faster and sharing these files faster to the participants.
Great. And can I ask, did you offer it all on one day, or did you split it over a couple days?
It was one day. It was from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. because we worked through lunch. I gave them like a 15-minute break to get some food, and I said, okay, just mute everyone. I'm gonna keep going because we need to get through all of this today.
Well,
and everyone was okay with that, and you know, everyone was taking the session from home, so it made it easier grabbing, you know, some food and then coming back to the session.
Right, right. Well, thank you. Yeah, I know you have trained a lot of folks using that.
Yeah, it's surprising the demand of it. So the first one I had 26 participants, the second one 28. So I think I'm facilitating like probably like a third of our whole faculty body by the end of all this. I do recommend also maybe clarifying, I don't know how your institution is going forward with the current situation, but at my institution, they don't want to call it online teaching. They're saying remote instruction. Because not all courses are already, you know, fully online. They don't have what it takes, or based on the QM standards and the rubric, to be qualified to be online courses. So in my session, I got the impression that a lot of participants were kind of like freaking out and stressing over having to follow everything on the rubric in their courses. And they're saying, hey, how are we expected to do this in like a week? And I said, well, that's not the expectation. You're teaching remotely. It's not the same as having a fully online course. So maybe clarifying that from the get-go, because a lot of my faculty think that they need to take the APPQMR training workshop to even teach remotely. And it's not the case. So just.
Right, right. Okay, well, thank you. That's really helpful. And as I said, as soon as I know about this opening up for everyone, I will share that with everyone. And so we might have some follow-up questions for you at that time.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, great. Okay, I'm gonna go back to sharing the screen here.
Hey, Ursula, Sally Hughes had a question, if you don't mind my jumping in. Does anyone, can you see the chat now? Because I'll quit interrupting if you.
No, please do, please do.
He wants to know if anyone knows if this remote option would be allowed for IYOC eventually.
I haven't heard that from Cecilia, and I've been talking to her kind of frequently, once a week. They didn't mention that, but at the end of next week, there is the QM East conference online that I will be attending, and I will definitely ask that, and maybe they'll announce it. But I know it's been so yeah, maybe they'll offer, maybe they're developing that. So I'll find out and let you know. All right, let's see,
I'm sorry, I have a quick question.
Yes.
This is Natalie. I missed the beginning, so you might have addressed this, but the person who was just speaking talked about using Zoom. Is that a QM requirement, or can you use other tools like Blackboard Collaborate, or would we have to go through a provided Zoom session?
I've heard them say that they are only setting it up for Zoom, but have you heard anything different, Ignacio?
No, and Zoom was my only option, so that's why I said I'm gonna do it through Zoom. And I don't know, maybe asking Cecilia if another web conferencing tool would be an option.
Oh, yeah, I'll ask Cecilia, because I know some people have some security concerns about Zoom. Thank you, Natalie, for asking that. Let's see. So as far as the webinars scheduled from QM directly, there's one I know several people have registered for, a discussion about discussions. Then there's another one later in June. I know there was just one about research. So I have just been checking the QM professional development website, and then also following them on Twitter. They tend to announce trainings and webinars right before they happen there. So if you're interested. And as far as what's new, what's happening for the Texas Quality Matters Consortium, right now the only training I saw listed, and it may even be full, because I think as of yesterday it was close to being full, there is a APPQMR that's an online one starting on the 28th. And I wanted to ask, for those of you who are offering trainings, do you think you'll have more in June and July? Because I looked at last year's schedule and it seemed like there were 3 or 4 that happened in June. Is anyone planning any APPQMR or improving your online course online for the system?
This is Linda. Right now, we're offering them at Blend, but we're closing all of those because we're filling them with just our own faculty. So we will look at the demand. If we have space, we'll open it to the whole state. if we need to keep those closed, we will keep them closed. So I think it's just kind of a wait and see for us.
Okay, well, thank you. And maybe once the Zoom option is available for everyone, that will change. People will take advantage of that. So,
hey, Ursula.
Yes.
This is Laura. Chanel and I, our session that we were going to do in March when the craziness started has been rescheduled for June the 17th. That's that free webinar about how we ratcheted up quality matters at the campus at Lee College.
Yes, the QM success story.
Yeah.
I will send out a notice. Thank you for reminding me of that. And I think if people had registered for it already, they're registered for the new time in June, but I will be sure to remind people because that's great that you guys will be featured on the national QM success stories.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Hey there, Ursula. This
Yes.
is for Miles at Houston Tillotson University. Hi, and
Hi.
greetings to everyone. Yeah, so we are primarily new into QM. I'm bringing the university up to speed after being here for about a year. And developing our online degree programs. I voiced to our president that it would be beneficial for us to really capitalize on quality matters. So she was definitely in support of that, and we've begun our efforts about, say, about 5-6 months ago. So, and also, while we're speaking about the subject of the APPQMR, maybe you or other members can just give me some background information on how it works to have members of other institutions sign up and to attend this certification. I have had a number of faculty. I've had about maybe 24 now get certified. I'm really grateful to Linda Reed because she has done a lot of those sessions. So I know right here on your screen, you're seeing Michael Anderson is going to be hosting the one for April 28th. Is this open? I just want to confirm, is this open to all statewide members, or how does that work?
Well, I'll just jump in and say this is open, yes, to all members, but there's only, and I think some of your folks have signed up for this.
Yeah, I do it myself. I'm the one that manages everyone. Like I work with my deans.
Okay.
Submit to me names, and because I oversee all of our online programs, no one can teach online until they get certified. So it is imperative that those individuals that I do get registered and their accounts are created, and then I get them registered for the APP and QMR, that they are indeed going to go forth with that workshop. But I had saw where some individuals were requested to be removed, and I didn't know how that worked, or could anyone give me background information on that?
Well, I'll jump in and say that if people were removed, I think that sometimes faculty will have or APP QMR facilitators will have a training that they just want their institution to be a part of, or they want it specifically for the faculty at their institution, and but then somehow it ends up on the statewide system, because there are other trainings that institutions have and they're blocked to non-institutional enrollments.
Got you. And that's maybe what I was thinking too. So let me ask you or anyone on the session, where can you be able to decipher when a online certification, when one of those workshops are only blocked for members at that sole institution? Because like I'm looking on the site right now, and other than seeing where it says the location and giving the session title and other information, like say the code for that particular session, will it have some notation to say like for members of ACC only, or for members from institution only? Like where does one see that, where it's blocked only for members of that institution?
Boy, and I see it for the whole system, I see individual trainings and for the whole system. So I'm not sure the different view that you folks have. Jennifer, maybe you and I could set up a separate meeting and maybe we could share our screens with each other so we could show, we could see what it looks like, and so we can find those trainings.
Okay, Ursula, you are so awesome. Yeah, I would love that. Totally. Yeah. So if we could do that and you just let me know, like, what's a good day and time. I'm also available anytime after 1 o'clock today. So I would love that. Yeah, I can, we can jump on Zoom and I can show you exactly. And if possible today, because I have about 4 other people I need to get registered. And from the looks of it, there's only 4 seats available left. So I just want to kind of hop on that.
Okay, great. I will do that right after this meeting, and then, but I would long-term love to get someone, you or someone at your institution, if they could get trained to facilitate the APP QMR face-to-face, then you would be able to offer them for your faculty.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that question. That was really good. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the QM payment process and how. Let me check the time. Okay, we're doing good. So recently, I've noticed that more members are paying fees directly to QM, and I would like to ask the participants what's their understanding of the process, because my understanding is that QM wouldn't bill the institutions directly, but they would bill Digitex, we would pay the bill, and then we would invoice the institutions. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And when I asked QM about this, they said that they want the institutions to write bill Digitex when they register people, but I know that when I register for a training, I don't see a place that indicates special billing instructions. And I know also there was an institution that was interested in paying a reviewer directly, but it was always my understanding that we were to pay reviewers, that the institutions would go through us, through our fiscal agent, to pay reviewers for their work. So maybe I'm opening up a can of worms here. Maybe this is a whole big meeting, but I just kind of wanted to get feedback from you guys on the QM payment process, how it's working and what your understanding of it is.
So this is Laura. We just, I just registered somebody at my institution, and then Chanel and I just registered for the peer review course. And there wasn't an option. It was either pay, how are you going to pay, like by PO, purchase order, or credit card. I didn't know that there was, I actually, this is the first time I've heard saying that we should bill through Digitex. So good to know, but, so I've been making sure that we had a PO in our system before I ever registered anybody or did anything with registering people.
Okay, well,
Ursula,
yes.
This is Judy Wright. And the way that happened for us, Laura, was we had to pay outright for the peer reviewer courses. And so the way that it was, my understanding was, whenever it was a course that was offered through Digitex, at that time it was Virtual College, then we would work through them. But for the peer reviewer course and any of the other courses that were not approved for the consortium, we would pay them directly. And I think that's how the confusion began.
That's also, this is Natalie, that's also what I understood, was that the ones that are offered by QM and not through the consortium are paid directly to QM. And then the rest are supposed to go through the consortium, but I had the same problem, the same question. We had written up instructions for people to enter the code so that they would know, the office would know who to bill. And then it seems like there was some small change, and we had to change our instructions because we couldn't see the box. We don't know where they want us to put that code, so we don't do it anymore.
Okay, well, that is good to know. I will follow up with the Nancy, I believe is her name, who is the QM in charge of all registration for trainings, and talk to her about how exactly an institution can indicate that. And then I'll follow up with you guys and provide some clear instructions about how best to move forward. But this information that you guys shared has been very helpful. So thank you. All right, let me go back to sharing my screen.
I have another question. I'm sorry. This is Laura again. So we put, as you know, we put cohorts of faculty through the Quality Matters Teaching Online certification set of workshops, and those are designated for our campus. That's how we've set it up. We just have paid QM directly and worked that out directly with QM. Would that be something else that would go through Digitex, or we're just going to have to work it out? At this point, you don't know.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, for right now, my understanding is that there's two, just the APP QMR and the Improving Your Online course are the only two that the payment for that, both the technology fee and the payment to the facilitator, would be through Digitex. But I know that peer reviewer course and this designing your online course right now all go through QM. So I think those are going to continue to go through QM. But when I talk to Nancy, I'll just reconfirm that, and because it would be good to know, because they have so many options for trainings. Okay. I will come back to you guys with more information on this. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about was just how can the Texas Quality Matters Consortium better serve your institution? Do you want more trainings? Do you want more information? Do you want opportunities for engaging with each other? I'm also would like to tweak the website a little bit. And I was wondering if maybe a calendar would be helpful, a calendar of the trainings that are happening, both the free ones from QM for members, and then our system-wide trainings. Also, I recently received a request for QM reviewers who are connected to the Texas Quality Matters Consortium. And I didn't have that handy, but it is something that we could put together if it's something you think would be useful. So let me.
Ursula, it looks like Judy has a question. She asked, will the face-to-face be offered statewide?
Will the face-to-face be offered statewide? Yes, the APP QMR face-to-face through Zoom. Yes, that actually nationwide. They're planning on offering that nationwide once they can finalize the technical specification. So yes, everyone. I see Linda says, yes, a calendar and list of peer reviewers would be very helpful. All right, that is good to know. I will get working on that. I know that in the past, I've seen in the previous Google archives of the Google group that sometimes folks would send out trainings happening in the month coming up. Is that something that people found useful?
I think that would be useful, particularly if that replaced having an email come through automatically every single time someone puts one in the system. But I think both might be a little overwhelming in terms of email management.
Right. Right. Okay. So you get those too, because I receive those emails as well. So that's good to know that my inbox is not the only one that's full with those notifications. Okay. Well, if you think of anything else that that would really be helpful for you from the Texas Quality Matters Consortium, please let me know. Either anytime in the future, send me an email because we really want this to be useful. We're going to have a new institution come on in May, and we hope to grow it some more. I think we can do some really important work in the state. We can, be leaders because of such a large group. And I am excited about that. So I am just going to, that was all that I had for the presentation, for the meeting today. And this is my contact information, and Dr. Sebesta's as well, and Heather Walker's. Are there any questions that folks had that we didn't get answered? Oh, and here I can't see the chat.
So Ursula, somebody is asking if there's a list of any software on which you have special pricing, if we could get that information as part of Digitex. Like in the past, there has been special pricing on certain things that came through the consortium, through Digitex, then VCT.
And right now, for the Texas Consortium, I don't think that there are, and I know there were more in the past. But yes, if I will let you know if there are any. But right now, I'm not sure. I don't think there are any.
Yeah, Ursula, I'll echo that. No, we really for the present have suspended those sorts of consortial discount arrangements, partly because what they often entailed was a investment on our part to subsidize those consortial enterprise licenses with various vendors. And when I came on board with Digitex, formerly VCT, I had to kind of make some hard choices about our budget and looking at kind of the return on investment for those. Usually there weren't that many of our members who participated in them. There's also kind of an ethical dilemma of privileging one vendor over another. Because we're a state entity, we're a state-funded entity, that's something I think that we had to consider as well. But Laura, I wouldn't say we won't do it ever in the future. It may be something that we might be able to revisit. And you're not the only one who's asked about that, so it might be something that we do want to rethink.
Okay.
Great, thank you. All right, well, if there are no other questions, again, I really appreciate you taking time on a Friday morning, especially during this super busy time, to participate in this. And thank you all for the work that you're doing. I recently completed the APP QMR training, and it's intense. And so I see how much work each of you are doing, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. But we'll have another quarterly meeting sometime this summer. But until then, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions. So thank you very much. And hopefully by the next meeting, I will have a better understanding of working this webinar. So thank you.